back?
Just something that's not back on.
So where we're going? Through this thing? Through that guy?
You guys back up, please. Sure. You keep the car thing just has to back up.
Like here?
No, that's it. Do you want to hold you?
Nah, but you know, make sure that I don't, I don't hit the curb.
Over here?
You know what?
I'm going to tell
I'm
you.
not too worried about what you see.
Do you see her face? So what would you do?
Heads up.
Back up over here. Follow on. Coming. Right up against the wall here. Against the wall? Closer. Go back this way.
Okay, you guys are here.
Oh, excuse me.
Back up if you could. Just back up if you could.
Well, that's no pressure.
Get out of your way there. Heads up. Back up a little bit.
And we have about 24 trades at our company. We have about 2,000 employees.
Yeah.
And you get on this side here.
Okay. Do we have?
Yeah. Here. Yeah, there's so many people.
Okay.
So Nolani,
Hi.
Keith, Delaney, and where's Walter? Oh, hey, Walter.
Hi.
Walter, Cody. They both completed training programs at East Bay Mud, and they came up through the trades. Trades are very important because we partnership with labor.
Yeah.
And so Walter and Nolani.
You're both AFSCME, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I just want to make sure that you guys had a chance to meet them and Governor and
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you tell us about, because first of all, I'm so happy to be here. East Bay Mud, literally I grew up across the, off of Keller exit. Yeah, so I live, but that's why when they said San Leandro, I'm like, no, that's Oakland.
No, we're over.
Yeah, it's good to be home. But part of the visit here is to talk about what you all have been doing because it's so successful, and therefore talk about it around the country as a model. So can you share a little bit about the apprenticeship program in particular and what that was like?
Well, I did it 15 years ago, and I started as a trainee one, and then went through 4 years of training program, and am now one of the senior carpenters at East Bay Mud. It's been an incredible experience. I think because of it, I mean, we've been talking, because of it, I feel I'm much more confident of a person. I feel like he and I both bring diversity to the trades, which in itself brings diversity to the company, which in itself brings diversity to the community.
Right.
And I mean, it makes the community grow because with diversity comes that growth, right? So this is a great company to be in. It works on being diverse. It works on bringing people from the trades at the beginning all the way through, and they take care really well of us here.
So what are some of the skills you learned? Because part of how we're thinking about it is we want to increase, and in particular I'm very interested, maybe because I'm a kid from California, but I'm very interested in water policy, right?
Yeah.
experienced drought growing up. We know war. What is the saying? Whiskey is whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting.
Apparently Mark Twain, but
Mark
there's some
Twain,
dispute.
right.
Yes. Well
So
done.
water's a big issue in California.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of the work that it needs to be done for a facility like this, what are the skills that we need to train a workforce with to do this kind of work? What are the skills that you were trained to use for this work?
Well, for me, I came up through the Pipeline Training Academy, so I was taught. I started as a plumber at 18, and that training class really taught us a lot about the entire district. They try to focus on the whole scope of the work, as far as locations, different facilities that we have, where our water comes from, why we want to provide such good quality water, and why it is so good. They also taught us about proper installations, proper techniques. You get hands-on training, different training from different crews, different backgrounds, so that you're all judged fairly. There is a competitive process that happens, so it keeps everybody, on their P's and Q's, but at the same time, very, very successful training. Like I said, I started at 18, so to be able to grasp everything, the different ways that you work with different types of water pipes and what cases they would be in different installations and different scenarios that you would install the pipe. It all helps because you understand your district, you understand the geographical area, you understand the community and why you want to put the best product in the perfect spot, to benefit everyone.
So plumber, pipe fitter, like these are some of the probably electricians, right?
Oh yeah, well I'm a carpenter, so we have electricians,
Carpenter,
instrument
right?
techs,
That's
painters.
4 already,
We have
right?
painters.
We have about 24 different trades
Yeah,
here.
we have so many different machinists that
Machinists,
with
of
this
course.
company is very technical.
Yeah.
It's just because our company has everybody within and we don't really contract out, we're just everybody within. We move much faster. So in a major earthquake, we're there. In like PSPS, we're there. In the fires, we're there. It's just much faster because we're all here. We're not having to go and try to find people. So having
That's
a training.
interesting. So this would be connected to firefighting.
Well, because we're water.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of times we have to work hand in hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, that's why it was beneficial to get to know the entire district, because in case of emergency situations, we need to know things that are in place, what facilities function for what purpose, and again, we're always prepared with the disaster plan, all those different types of things. And
We don't blame him. Just because the PSPS is interesting, doesn't talk about a 4-letter word.
Yeah, I
The public power shut off
Right,
and
right,
related, all
right,
that
right,
prevention. But it's interesting from a water and sewer perspective, that's impacting. So it's not just an electrical issue.
No, well, because we have emergency generators throughout the district now, and different reservoirs and different pumping plants. So in a major earthquake, or not earthquake, but a fire or anything, and we have to go through PSPS, things get turned off and emergency systems go into place.
You guys, do you think you're more efficient this last couple of years? You're getting a little more efficient in terms of the outreach?
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
So we're about to enter our 3rd year,
Yeah.
and it's getting, sadly, we're getting experience with this.
Yeah.
A lot of our service area is in upper elevation, so that's why when we lose power, we lose the ability to get water up there, and so that's why the portable generators have been our primary mitigation.
Big deal.
This is great, guys. We're going to talk about you all over the place. Because when we think about growing water infrastructure, right, and expanding it, and then people are like, well, what does that mean in terms of jobs?
Yeah.
And you guys are the examples about what it means and the training that is required to actually perform those jobs.
Yeah.
May I say one more thing?
Please, yes.
Just coming from the plumber group, there's so many different plumbers that work here, and the plumber group is so vast and broad.
I am her. This is the governor. And this is David, the tour guide.
You guys, you want to back up? Maybe it's guys, you want to just back up.
And then Angela.
Just want to back up just a little bit.
Yeah, let's back up a
Back
little,
up,
5
guys.
feet behind
Guys,
Angela.
back up, please.
A little more.
Right there, more like
Perfect, thank you.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I appreciate it. Just keep it down so we don't get too shot. Yeah.
When you invest here in a water treatment plant, the jobs stay here, the money stays here, it stays in these folks because there's construction, there's maintenance, there's
And
operations.
it's the whole community.
Yeah, so that's why I think
Angela! Hi. Hi. Oh, it's so good to see you.
Wonderful to see you. Hello. Governor.
Good to see you.
It's good to see
I
you.
love it.
Wonderful.
I only see her on Zoom. This is nice.
Only on Zoom.
It was
This
the
is the
last-
first time. we
Just
see
for a
each
moment,
other
then we're going to
weekly
get
on
back.
Zoom.
We'll get back.
And it's just wonderful to see you both.
Thank you.
And I'm so pleased that we're having an opportunity to talk about infrastructure
Yes. Well,
Thanks to
you've
her.
been writing about it and talking about it forever.
forever.
Forever. I know that. And equity, always.
Always.
Yes.
It was in March of 2008 that PolicyLink launched the PolicyLink Center on Infrastructure Equity.
Uh-huh.
And then in 2015 that we launched the Water Equity and Climate Resilience Caucus, which includes about 100 organizations,
Right.
all of which are focused from Navajo Nation
Yeah.
to Mississippi
Yeah,
to
to the
Flint
Delta,
and the
to-
Delta,
yeah.
all those places. And the issue is just so important. It is just so important. And it took a long time for people to understand that it was an equity issue.
That's right.
Not just in the ways of health and toxins and all of
Right.
that, but to be economically viable.
Yeah.
But the issue that really has an opportunity now is jobs.
Yeah. They should hear you.
Jobs.
Yes.
Jobs. the issue,
Just ask her to repeat what you were saying. Not telling her what to say.
the issue now is jobs.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be hard because I've heard the president talk about this being a generational opportunity
Yeah.
for infrastructure, and infrastructure is getting expanded to include housing and extended to talk about the care community that is the undergirding of all work.
Yes.
But work is going to be hard
Yeah.
because too many people of color, too many indigenous people, too many people with disabilities have had no access to these jobs. And these jobs have not been easy to come by. And so we're going to have to invest in an infrastructure to get the training, to get the connectedness.
infrastructure.
The human
To
infrastructure.
build the physical
The
infrastructure.
human
I agree with
infrastructure
you.
to build the physical
I agree with
infrastructure.
you.
The good news is that there are a lot of initiatives around the country that have been doing this.
Yeah.
The Emerald Cities Collaborative, which has been working in California and Detroit and all over the country with labor and community coming together to find young people,
Yeah.
get them involved in pre-apprenticeship programs,
Right.
doing retrofitting and other things, and then they can move into other jobs. And without this connection to community, it's just not going to work.
Right.
And so I am just so hopeful that now that we're going to have an infusion of dollars that we have needed for so long, that we will see that investing in a generational development of the workforce human infrastructure
Right.
to be able to get communities on their feet, to get families supported, to give young people the chance that they need to be able to build careers. It's an amazing opportunity, but it's going to take a lot of partnership and a lot of work to be able to mine it.
And the experts. It's gonna require the people who've been in this area, in this field, and knowing it for decades.
Decades.
And but I agree with you, and it will be transformational.
It really
It will be transformational because it's also about building up the skill set of America's workforce. It is about jobs, and that's about income and sustainability and families. It's also about, as it relates to our care economy, recognizing the value of that. And the fact that you want to talk about infrastructure, that literally is part of the infrastructure of any working family, is the caregivers who
Yes.
give, be it to children or to elderly relatives. Yeah, it's
It
all
is-
connected.
It has taken a long time for people to grasp that America can't go to work if
Right.
the children are not cared for, if the elderly are not cared for. It is as essential as anything.
That's right.
Yeah, so when we get that together, we will have made a lot of progress. And I just have to emphasize that indigenous communities
Yes.
have been so neglected, and they're organized and they're speaking out about how they need to get these investments as well.
And the and indigenous communities who historically and forever and culturally have been some of the greatest stewards
Right.
of the precious resources of this God-given earth, right? Water, air, all of it.
That's right.
Yeah, and I appreciate also you mentioning our disability community.
That's right.
I think that's critically important that we also acknowledge and deal with the fact that they've been too often in too many areas left out or just overlooked.
And the disability community was actually one of the co-creators of the Water Equity Caucus because they saw that they were so often left out of that issue altogether.
Right.
And, we worked with your office when you were senator
I know.
around
I
the
know
Water
that.
Justice Act.
Yes.
And so I know that you have got
And
all
our
these
Water
pieces.
Justice Act, which I loved, and also, and here's the see, I'm gonna
No, I
just
know.
continue to geek out on water.
Okay, good.
I care so deeply about it, but also including like the looking at water policy in a way that recognizes that whatever the region of our country, people may think, well, the West Coast, East Coast, rural, urban, they're so different. Not on this subject at all. And so in our justice policy for water justice, it included in rural America, which is, by the way, here in the Central Valley in California, and then throughout other areas of the country, they rely on wells. And then the health and safety and the need for upkeep and maintenance of those. And families can't afford to do it, right? We pay attention to municipal waterways, but that's the main source of water for families. And so getting grants to those families to upgrade their systems so that they can be safe and healthy.
And it's so unknown, so many communities that don't have access to clean or
Right.
safe drinking water or any other safe water. It's really hard. I did a podcast on that, looking at California,
Yep.
and got a lot of feedback
Oh,
from
yeah.
people saying they had no idea
Yeah.
that there were so many people who had no access.
That's right.
Conservatively, 1 million families that don't
Yes.
have access,
And
and then many
yeah.
are paying for water they can't even drink or bathe in.
Right.
2 times as many as they do for water.
Let her pass by.
Water past us.
So you can stand in front of these people.
Over here, and then I'll move you for a handoff. Okay, so just stay on this side, and so keep the position. This will be her, and I'll have you guys standing here once she goes into here. Start.
I said, did you hear it all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think you have your earpiece on. Huh?
What's that? Well, I don't hear it now. All right, heads up. Here we go.
There's several people here we'll meet, but you were talking about groundwater and rural PFAS, getting that out of the system, lead. I mean, we're it's all on our minds. So our last, let me, Madam Vice President, leadership on East Bay Mine. Marlene Dumaine, and Kelly Zito with the sunglasses there. So that's looks like she's already getting off the field.
Thank you for coming.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
We brought
Timely,
some
too.
papers here.
Okay, very
Hello, Madam
nice
Vice
to
President.
meet
Very
you.
nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice to
So
see you.
happy to have you in the Bay Area. Yeah, it's great to see you at home. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm an Oakland native, and having you in our facility, understanding the water industry and the challenges. Yeah, it's a challenging issue to provide clean, safe, affordable water. It's so exciting to have you here. And we offer any assistance we can to help shape the administration's goal to protect the public health. Absolutely. And just to give you a sense, in the last decade, East Bay Mud, with the retirement, we provided 1,500 jobs just for East Bay Mud alone with the retirement. So the water industry is about investing in the community and investing in jobs.
But I saw also that the workforce is aging, right? That we need to
And that's what we see is that shift.
Yeah.
And investing in the community, we put a lot of money in the community, which is, there's a multiplier effect.
That's right.
And the jobs and infrastructure, that's incredible to hear the administration talking about that, and it's incredible to hear them talking about water.
We're doing it together.
Thank you.
Madam Vice President, this is Marlene Dumaine,
Hi.
Government Affairs, please.
Good, nice to meet you.
And I want to thank you. We visited your staff when you were in the Senate.
Uh-huh.
Every year when we was back.
Uh-huh.
I-
Well, in fact, my former chief of staff was
Yeah,
here. Running
yeah,
it.
just terrific. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Because
Thank
you
you.
always been an open door and care about water.
Well, I care deeply about water, and I'm so happy to be here and to highlight what's happening here, and has been for a long time. So I look forward to continuing to work with you on this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Madam Vice President, this is Kelly Zito, Senior Public Affairs Director.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Good morning.
So
Good
nice to
morning.
meet you. Thank you for coming. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to show you our infrastructure. And for us, my group is in charge of community affairs, and we're out in the community, and investing in infrastructure is investing in our community.
That's
so
exactly right. No, and you're a big presence in the community. I know that.
Yeah.
So it's great to highlight the work you're doing here. And thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's
It's
good to
wonderful
be here.
have you.
It's good to be home too.
So we'll take you back to your
Okay.
here.
That was smooth.
Well, staff, right? Good stuff.
Okay, now what?
Do what
Okay.
you just did.
Okay.
Do what you just did.
Hi guys. So listen, it is great to be in Oakland and to be home, but it's great to be here at East Bay Mud. This facility and this group have been doing work that really is a model for the country of what we do in terms of, one, acknowledging, as we have discussed, water is a right, and it is obviously a precious resource. It sustains life in every form, be it human life, be it agricultural life, and we know it is precious. There were, for years and generations and centuries, wars fought over oil. I would suggest to you in a short matter of time, wars will be fought over water. We must understand how precious this resource is. We must understand the equities and inequities of distribution and access to clean water, especially clean drinking water, and address it in a way that is about supporting what governments must do at a local, at a state, and at a federal level, understanding the opportunities here, and this is a big part of the American Jobs Plan, which is the opportunity to not only build back up our infrastructure around water and water policy being diverse. It's about capture of water, storage of water, underground storage. There's recycling, there's conservation, there's desalination. All of these things are part of water policy, but the American Jobs Plan looks at it in terms of the infrastructure piece, and in particular what we need to do to build back up and to build anew what we can do to preserve and to make sure all people have access to clean water and affordable water. And so that is what we are doing with the American Jobs Plan. Part of our reason for being here too, and we were with Angela Blackwell, is the issue of water equity. Whether you're talking about Iowa, where I've spent a lot of time, and places in the Midwest where people have wells in their backyard and sewage systems on their property. It is on their property, it is theirs, but it is eroding, and they don't have the resources to actually upgrade and make it safe. And so part of our policy is to say give grants, give support to homeowners to be able to upgrade their systems because, of course, this is a public health issue. We are looking at it in terms of places like Flint, the Mississippi Delta, places where our children throughout this country, and the governor can talk about it in terms of California, where children are drinking toxic water. And what we must do, PFAS, what we must do in terms of lead. The American Jobs Plan is about saying, let us 100% of our lead systems and lead pipes, let's upgrade them. Why? Because drinking lead will kill our children, literally. And so we have to acknowledge the public health issue, but also, again, see the opportunity in upgrading these systems and fixing and repairing the systems to create jobs. So we met with a couple of folks who have been in the apprenticeship programs that is part of what the American Jobs Plan will create. Apprenticeship programs where we partner up with the building trades, the pipe fitters, the plumbers, the electricians, the carpenters, understanding they have some of the best apprenticeship programs in our country to build up the skills of the American workforce to get these jobs, which are good union jobs, good paying union jobs. So that's why we're here today, to highlight the great work that is happening. I want to thank the whole team, and I especially want to thank the governor. He and I have worked together for a long time. We were elected to our first office at the same time back in 2003. And one of the things I know about Gavin Newsom is he has always been a champion about what we need to do around our environment. And he and I have had many conversations over the years, in particular about the preservation of water. And so I'm just so happy that you have been able to join us, Governor. And I want to give you an opportunity to speak and talk about some of the work you're doing.
I appreciate it. I'll be brief. It's an honor to have the Vice President here. And as you can hear, you don't need to educate the Vice President on water policy and what a gift that is for us, particularly out here in the state of California, as we are now going through another annual rite of passage, which is the annual snowpack survey. And as you saw last week, just 59% of average. This is the second dry year in the state. We came out of a 5-year drought. We had a short respite. And now that reality's presented itself anew. All of these things are connected. Water infrastructure, water policy, issues related to drought. And by the way, drought is by no means an issue just for California. 77% of the west coast of the United States is now in what we refer to as mega drought conditions. This is profoundly significant for this country, and particularly the West. And this Jobs Recovery Act, this American Recovery Act, this infrastructure effort is, forgive me, I know we're prone to hyperbole. It's a game changer to complement the efforts that are happening at the local level to address the needs here in the East Bay of a system that was designed in the 1930s that needs investment, needs upgrade. We talk a lot about infrastructure. We have the ability to deliver on it, and for the Vice President to be here to be delivering not only a package for consideration to Congress, but be delivering on the priorities that we hold dear here in the state of California is extraordinary. So, Madam Vice President, thank you for being here. And it's a tremendous opportunity for this state and our nation. We have your back, and we're all in on supporting this effort.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone love the motivated display.
Thank you so much for being here. Go ahead, this way, this way.
Right down here, guys. Yep. Straight away.
All the way down. There you go. Thanks, guys.
So duck bean. Now.
Watch your steps, guys. Turn around there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thanks, guys. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Let me You have to train, get in.
This is us, yeah. Yeah, it's first one. Sarah, you want to get in?
You dropped that there, but there's,
You got it.
you gotta get a couple things out of that bag. This is the, this is from the back of the bag. I'll be ready.
Sarah, you can get up here.
I can tell my wife to make it easy for me.
How long is this next ride?
About 8 to 9 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just carry it.
So we're going, depending on the route we take, we're not going to